Hey guys, this will be my first video post on YouTube. The reason I'm starting a YouTube channel is in essence because my boy's been wanting to post to YouTube for quite a while, and we've kind of held him off of that, but we're ready. We think he's responsible enough to start posting videos. So what we thought we would do is I'll do a YouTube channel and he'll do a YouTube channel, and we'll edit together and learn together and figure out how to get subscribers. I'm sure his will be much more popular than mine because I'll be talking about politics, but I do know one person who will be super happy that I'm making videos on YouTube. And that's my wife, because now I'll be talking into an iPhone instead of into her ear. Alright, so for myself, this is a great time to be starting a YouTube channel about politics. We're about 8 days from the presidential election, and this has been the craziest presidential election that I've ever seen. I thought Perot, Clinton, and Bush was pretty crazy.
Who am I? Why am I here?
Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton have outdone the pack.
Wrong.
I thought I'd do something different, and that is give you the top 10 reasons why Trump and Hillary can't be president. So these are disqualifying factors. And I know only 10 each. Let's start with, I guess, Donald Trump. 10 reasons Donald Trump can't be president. Well, first of all, Donald Trump's a Democrat. The second reason that Donald Trump is disqualified from being a president kind of dovetails right back to the first. Donald Trump is a hypocrite who has taken a whole slew of new positions. Trump's taken a new position on the Iraq War, he's taken a new position on guns, he's taken a new position on abortion, all to get elected President of the United States. The third reason that Donald Trump shouldn't be president relates to his impulsiveness. He's far too impulsive, he's not intelligent enough to be president, and he's uninformed on key positions that the president must be informed on. The fourth reason that Donald Trump shouldn't be president is because he incites violence at his rallies. Now at the start I used to defend Donald Trump for this, but it kept going, and then somewhere along the line, he dropped the line where he said, if someone comes to attack me, knock the hell out of him. Well, somewhere along the path, he took a shorthand approach and he said, get him out of here, knock the hell out of him. And it turned into a possible future president of the United States having people attacked at his rallies, and that's just not cool. Now, we can do a segue here and talk about the fact that Hillary Clinton's campaign sent all those people there, or encouraged it so much that people started going into Trump rallies specifically to protest and start fights, and that's a legitimate claim, but the reality is Donald Trump said what he said. The fifth reason Donald Trump shouldn't be president is you don't attack the military. You just simply don't do it in this country. Our military is out of bounds when it comes to attack. We can attack our leaders from going to war, but our military is expected to follow the orders of our commander-in-chief, and they do that bravely, and they do that without regard to the political persuasion of the president who is leading them, because he is our commander-in-chief. The bottom line, the fact that Donald Trump attacked John McCain's bravery and service to this country, that was the low point in the campaign, and I would understand anyone from the military or anyone who loves this country and loves what this country stands for and understands that we have this country because of our military. I would support anyone just disqualifying Donald Trump right there. Okay, so moving on to the sixth reason that Donald Trump is disqualified from being president. So the idea that Donald Trump got up in front of his audience and mocked the New York Times reporter who does have physical issues.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said. This is 14 years ago. They didn't do a retraction.
The idea that he did that in such a disgusting manner, for some people who are just over all of the hazing and all of the bullying, I understand why you wouldn't want to vote for Donald Trump. Again, not a big deal to me, but I get it. So the seventh reason why Donald Trump is absolutely disqualified for president. Well, he's a misogynist, and anyone who argues that he's not a misogynist is probably a misogynist themselves. And I'm also not going to be a hypocrite. I'm going to admit, I've been down that road. I've said things that I'm ashamed of. I've went through my adult life saying things that, upon reflection, were pretty foul. And, certainly locker room talk, this all exists. It's all real. But the idea that you would defend it is a whole nother thing. The eighth reason why Donald Trump is completely disqualified from being president. Well, he's a racist. Donald Trump's flat-out attack of an American judge born in Indiana who has Mexican heritage, his attack on this gentleman by saying that he couldn't fairly judge the case against Trump University was a racist attack, and there's no defense for it. Now, how far does that racism go inside of his heart? I have no idea. He certainly says some indelicate things. I remember one time when he was looking out into the crowd at one of his rallies, and he points over and he goes, "Hey, look at my African American over there."
Oh, look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about?
And I just cringed, because I want to like the guy. I see such a fighter in Donald Trump, and I see such a neophyte politician who is capable of great things, who keeps tripping and falling down and saying ridiculous things. Okay, so number 9, the 9th reason why Donald Trump is absolutely disqualified from being president. Donald Trump has this love affair with tyrants and dictators that is just creepy, and I just don't understand it. I think he sees their strength, and he assigns a lot of value to chutzpah and ego and narcissism and everything that goes with that, and I think he views these men as strong. Okay, so the 10th reason why Donald Trump is disqualified from being president. It kind of dovetails with number 9, but it takes things a step further, and that is that Donald Trump is a fascist. He wouldn't call himself a fascist, but he talks like a fascist. He talks in ways that are not how our republic works. He doesn't seem to understand that we have a constitution governing us. He doesn't seem to understand that you can't limit speech. He doesn't seem to understand that he can't rule by decree. Neither does President Obama. But again, do we want to say let's elect another guy just like President Obama in terms of his disrespect of the Constitution of the United States of America? And my answer to that is, well, Hillary's running against him, so I guess we'll just have to decide in the voting booth. Okay, now let's move on to Hillary Clinton and the top 10 reasons why she is absolutely disqualified from being president of the United States. Let's tick them off pretty quick here. There are no less than 5 active investigations into Hillary Clinton's inner circle. From Hillary's emails and server, to the Clinton Foundation, to Uma Aberdeen's laptop, to her best friend Terry McAuliffe, the governor of Virginia, and Tony Podesta, who's the brother of John Podesta, the head of her campaign. Next up, we have Pay for Play, which is simply nothing more than Hillary's friendly State Department granting favors to foreign dignitaries, foreign businessmen, and foreign leaders in exchange for donations to the Clinton Foundation. Next up is the fact that Hillary Clinton absolutely agrees with Donald Trump on the Syrian refugees. In a private email released by WikiLeaks, she admitted that there's absolutely no way to effectively vet the Syrian refugees. And even though she knows this and openly admits it, she still wants to allow a 600% increase in Syrian refugees into the United States. This is just pure insanity. And next up is the fact that Hillary Clinton and her campaign are cheaters. They were caught. Donna Brazile was caught handing questions to Hillary Clinton on several occasions in advance of debates and town halls. Not only does this fly in the face of simple fairness, it tells you the way Clinton will conduct her presidency. Okay, now let's move on to the fact that Hillary Clinton openly mocks, marginalizes, and insults the victims of her own husband's sexual assaults. Now, this isn't conjecture, this is fact. Bill Clinton had to pay Paula Jones $800,000 for his sexual misogyny. All the while, Hillary Clinton is out there calling these women 2-bit cabaret dancers after their 15 minutes of fame.
You get your 15 minutes of fame and you get your picture on the front page of every newspaper, and you're some failed cabaret singer who doesn't even have much of a resume to fall back on, and what's there she's lied about. You know, that's the daughter of Willie Horton. As far as I'm concerned, it's the same kind of attempt to keep the real issues of this country out of the mainstream debate where they need to be.
And next up we have the fact that Hillary is, in fact, a racist. Now, her public persona is one of inclusiveness, but her private persona is much darker. In an email released by WikiLeaks, Hillary Clinton called blacks and Muslims professional never-do-wells. Now, I don't know if there's a definition in the dictionary for never-do-well, but I think we can figure this one out ourselves, especially given the fact that in front of that she put the word professional. So Hillary Clinton believes that blacks and Muslims are profoundly good at never doing well in America. Now, why does she believe this? We're talking about her painting an entire race with the brush of never being capable of doing well in this country. Now, much has been made about the attack on September 11th in Benghazi that resulted in the death of 4 Americans. including Ambassador Christopher Stevens. Now, there were many investigations, and Hillary was ultimately cleared of wrongdoing, but there were some things that were discovered during those hearings which reveal a woman who should not be president.
I want to show you a few things here. You're looking at an email you sent to your family. Here's what you said. At 11 o'clock that night, approximately 1 hour after you told the American people it was a video, you say to your family, 2 officers were killed today in Benghazi by an al-Qaeda-like group. You tell the American people one thing, you tell your family an entirely different story. Also, on the night of the attack, you had a call with the president of Libya. Here's what you said to him. Ansar al-Sharia is claiming responsibility. It's interesting, Mr. Katala, one of the guys arrested and charged, actually belonged to that group. And finally, and most significantly, the next day, within 24 hours, you had a conversation with the Egyptian Prime Minister. You told him this: we know the attack in Libya had nothing to do with the film. It was a planned attack, not a protest. Let me read that one more time. We know, not we think, not it might be, we know the attack in Libya had nothing to do with the film. It was a planned attack, not a protest. State Department experts knew the truth. You knew the truth, but that's not what the American people got.
Now, one place where we should be really concerned about a Hillary Clinton presidency is in foreign affairs. During her time as Secretary of State, she was responsible for creating a civil war in Syria, for destabilizing the government of Libya, and for empowering the very man who she says Donald Trump is helping, Vladimir Putin. All of this added up to a civil war, a refugee crisis, and an ongoing caliphate in the Middle East. All right, let's give you a final reason why Hillary Clinton should absolutely not be President of the United States of America. And this stems from the third debate when Donald Trump so eloquently put it, "You're no honest Abe." In fact, just yesterday, she was quoted as saying that during 9/11, she was in New York and saw those buildings come down, when in fact she wasn't in New York. And then who can forget the great one about landing under sniper fire in Bosnia?
I remember landing under sniper fire. There was supposed to be some kind of a greeting ceremony at the airport, but instead we just ran with our heads down to get into the vehicles to get to our base. I remember landing under sniper fire. There was supposed to be some kind of a greeting ceremony at the airport, but instead we just ran with our heads down to get into the vehicles.
So there you have it, the top 10 reasons why Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump should absolutely not become President of the United States of America. Unfortunately, one of them is going to become President of the United States. So why don't we look at the Real Clear Politics electoral map and figure out who has the better path to the presidency. Okay, so what we have here is the Real Clear Politics average of polls electoral map. What we see are the various shades of colors, anywhere from deep blue for Hillary and deep red for Trump. And all the colors in between mean the polls are closer and many different things could happen. So the gray states, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Maine, District 2, Virginia, North Carolina, and Florida are all toss-ups, meaning the polls are under 5 points apart. So the best way to look at it, well, funny enough, I want to say this. About 10 minutes ago when I was setting up, Hillary had 246 and Trump had 160. But in the first 10 minutes of me setting up my screen, the Real Clear Politics average in Pennsylvania has pushed it into toss-up. So the momentum for Trump has continued since Friday, and we are now at 226 to 180 as far as strong support for our candidates. But the best way to look at this is to just go with no toss-up. And that simply means that based on the state polls as of today, if the election were held, Hillary Clinton would win the presidency if all of the polls were right. Trump 265, Clinton 273, a very small margin victory for Hillary Clinton. So in order to set up a path to victory for Clinton, all we have to say is she holds her lead in where she leads now, and she's the next president of the United States. So in order to set up a path for victory for Trump, we actually have to flip some more states for him. The easiest way for Trump to become president, well, maybe not the easiest, but the easiest to only have to win one state is New Hampshire. He's close in the polls. I believe it's within 3 points. If he wins New Hampshire and holds all of the states that he leads in, we get a 269-269 tie. And of course, Congress breaks that tie, and right now it looks as though the Republicans are going to hold in the House. And if they do, they would elect Donald Trump. But a lot of Republicans are hostile towards Trump. So it's not inconceivable that Hillary could make a deal with many Republicans who would rather not have a Trump presidency. She could make a deal with those Republicans to elect her, and she would maybe promise to allow Obamacare to be repealed. Or she would say, I will let you select a Supreme Court justice, and then I get to select the one after that. There's many deals she could make for the presidency. And of course, in order to become president, of course, she would make those deals, as would Trump. So how do we get Trump into a definite win for the presidency? Well, simple enough. Trump was leading in Maine District 2 as little as a week ago. It's one electoral vote. It would give Donald Trump 270 and Hillary Clinton 268. Now, this map, as it's set up right here, is a long night, as is the map where we go with no toss-up for Hillary, where she wins. This is a long night because she still would have to win New Mexico and Colorado, and those are by no means, gimme states. She's leading in them, but it's by no means would we call the election for Hillary Clinton early on in the night if this all held, if all of these eastern states that are blue stayed blue and all of these Midwest and eastern states stayed red. So where are the surprises? Where's an early night guaranteed victory for Hillary Clinton? Well, as always, it's Florida. Oops, wrong color. That's Florida. So if Clinton wins Florida, she's over 300 electoral votes, and as long as she holds her other blue states, then she's the next president of the United States. And if you definitely want to start celebrating a Clinton presidency, wait until they call North Carolina and Florida for Hillary. At that point, she is unbeatable, because even if Trump flipped Colorado and New Mexico, which he's not likely to flip both of those, but even if he flipped both of those, Hillary Clinton still has 300 electoral votes. So it's her night. Okay, let's set this back up to no toss-up. And let's see what an early night for Donald Trump looks like. My best guess would mean that Trump must win 4 states. 2 are already, let's make these more clear. 2 are already in his pocket as of today, but 2 are not. So an early night for Trump looks like this. I don't think the networks are going to call it, because they might be close enough for them to play the game of too close to call in order to make you watch all night. But the reality is, if the networks do call New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Florida for Donald Trump, you can pretty much stop watching the election, because there's just so much that this tells us about the electorate that we can go ahead and guess that Donald Trump is going to be the next president of the United States. Now, this is still possibly a close election, because you see Trump has 289 here, and there's one outlier that could make it scary for him, and this is what the networks are going to play off of. So we have to give him New Hampshire, because there is another path out west for Hillary if he doesn't get New Hampshire. So the only way it's an early night for Trump is if he wins New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Florida. If everything else holds, that New Hampshire vote does one thing. It means that if Hillary flips Nevada and Arizona with the Latino vote, that she still can't win. She simply still can't win. 266, Donald Trump, 272, he still wins. So the Latino vote, as powerful as it is in Arizona and Nevada, can be muted if New Hampshire goes to Trump. So my guess is New Hampshire is going to be too close to call until Nevada and Arizona can be closed. Until the polls are closed in Nevada and Arizona, my guess is that either New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, or Florida will be said to be too close to call, because it's not in the network's best interest to call those 4 states, because the other states aren't close enough. So an early night victory for Trump, even though it'll be a close victory, is New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Florida, because then it mutes Nevada and Arizona. So there you have it. Those are your 2 paths to victory, spelled out in many different ways for next Tuesday night. Okay, so that's going to wrap up my first video. I want to thank you for tuning in. Leave me a comment below if you see a different path to victory through the Electoral College. I think I covered most of them, but if you've got an electoral map that you think is an easier path for either Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, please post it in the comments and I'll take a look at it. Actually, as I'm sitting here, I just thought of one. I forgot about Utah. So in reality, Trump could win New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Florida if Hillary pulls off wins in Arizona and Nevada, but the third party candidate wins in Utah. That'll knock Trump down to 266 and it will throw it into the hands of Congress, and they will decide the next president of the United States. So there's one right there that I already forgot. Okay, if you like politics and you're interested in seeing more videos, please hit the subscribe button. That'll let me know you want me to keep making videos. I promise I'll make a couple more before the election, because I'm absolutely convinced that the Clinton campaign, Project Veritas, WikiLeaks, Anonymous, they're all going to be releasing videos. I look for Thursday or Friday to be the big dump days, because that's obviously the last weekend heading into the election. So I'll make a couple more videos, a couple of short ones, just to cover any new news releases that come up. But other than that, I thank you for watching my first video, and I'll see you next time.